Welcome back to another episode of Buzz on Veterans. I'm Steve Strum with my fabulous co-host, Chris. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you doing? Good to see you.
It's been so long since I've seen you. I almost forgot what you look like. Yeah. This interview's not about you. It's about these guys over here.
Absolutely.
Today we have Ryan Bauman and Jake Bohn. Boy, that works out really well, almost in the last name universe. Marine retired, Army retired. Did the same thing, and now we're talking a little bit about how you guys have transitioned out of battlefield to boardroom. You're getting them as they come in to get them to come out to be productive members of society. I think that kind of covers what we're talking about today.
That's pretty huge.
And,
there's a lot to that.
So
can you tell us what you're doing with your company, with a nonprofit?
Absolutely. So it's called Our Community Salutes USA, and we are actually doing about 50 ceremonies nationwide this year, recognizing high school seniors that are enlisted in military service. And so it's super exciting. This has been going on for about 16 years. Literally hundreds of thousands of kids have come through our ceremonies and either are still serving today or have gotten out over time. So
no kidding.
A lot of recognition.
That's huge. So how does how does a student get recognized and part of this process?
So we work with the local recruiting command. So we go actually from the top down across all services, all branches are invited and eligible to come on into our ceremony. And so we've got about 50 sites, like I said, across the nation, and we're working with those local offices in order to get the invitations out to both the kids and their parents as well. Stepmom, stepdad, guardian, whoever those influencers are in their life, to be able to come to the ceremony and be part of the recognition process.
Right. And your service, how does your service in the Marine Corps influence you to make this journey into the nonprofit space?
A perfect segue is what it was. So I wanted to personally give back, much like all we do.
That's huge.
Much like we do in service. And so, the opportunity to be able to do this and provide for the next generation, to give them the recognition that they may not get through their local community. And so we're trying to drive that and make sure that they know there's a heck of a lot of support out there, a lot of resources, a lot of love in individual communities, and we're bringing that out, showing them what's there for them when they do transition, when they do end up getting out, be able to come back to their respective communities and tap into that.
And be a productive member of society, which actually segued us right into Jake. So West Point guy, you served in the United States Army Artillery, and then you came out of the military to go back to school and became a lawyer.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about, it's interesting because, I hear what you say, you're kind of bringing them into the funnel of which by, service to our country and growing up in the Army, I get it, and I thank all you gentlemen for your service, because without it, we don't get a chance to do this. But you talk about all the wonderful reasons of why they should come in, but then what they can be when they come out, and sitting right next to you is what they can be when they come out. Fair? So tell us a little bit about what your journey's been.
Yeah, so like you said, I graduated West Point in 2011, was a field artillery officer, served at Fort Hood, Texas, and Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Got to go to airborne school, ranger school, deployed to Afghanistan, and really serving the country was the honor of my lifetime. And kind of the position I was at in my career, I really respect people that want to do that for a lifetime, but where I was, I decided I want to get out. And my major at West Point was American Legal Studies, and I had instructors that were attorneys, some civilians, some JAG officers, and law school was something that I thought about. And I feel like, attorneys are in a position to be leaders and kind of other professionals aren't in. And I thought about it. One of the things that I love about America is kind of the entrepreneurial spirit and kind of those that go out there to try to give a service to people. I don't have $1 billion idea, but one of the things I thought I could do was kind of help clear hurdles for folks that do, and law school made sense to me, and I'm fortunate enough that the GI Bill helped make that affordable. And
well, and that is true. That post 9/11 GI Bill is huge because especially if you think about law school. I know we were talking a little offset. We at the studio. We actually did a continuing education video for the lawyers in Florida. Coming out of law school without something like that, $200,000 in student loan debt is not hard to do. Matter of fact, that's even starting conversation.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the GI Bill lightens that burden, and I got to go to a good school at University of Georgia, where kind of the price isn't the same as some of those upper end schools. So
but still, you have an upper end. You have
a
high level, education from a fabulous school.
Yeah, I was fortunate.
Really good school. got to go, okay, football team.
Yes, yeah. I'm a little bitter they didn't win it all while I was there,
yeah.
but I got to go to a couple games, and it was a cool experience.
That's awesome. So Ryan, with the nonprofit space, your service obviously influenced your decision to do that. For other veterans who are kind of thinking about that next step, what they do in the future, what kind of advice do you have for them?
Take a look at everything that's available. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of resources, a lot of opportunity out there. Take advantage of every conversation that you can possibly have. The networking piece is so very
huge,
important, and when we get into this space, so I always say networking, mentoring, and coaching. That's kind of part of the formula to success. Finding people that are out there that are successful, that have been there and done that. And are where you want to be. At the end, talk to them, see what they did, gather all that in, and then apply it.
It's funny. I had a conversation with somebody, and I told them, we talk about courage in the military all the time, physical and moral courage. Like I said, hey, when you transition, you have to put yourself out there. You got to be willing to maybe take that step. A lot of times in the military, we, with some bravado, I don't really want to look vulnerable, but it's not vulnerability. It's just you, because people want to pay it back, and you guys are doing that right now, and that's very commendable. So, not good. Any things that you would say, hey, number one thing is you look to the future for somebody getting ready to come out that you kind of experienced yourself?
What he mentioned is identifying mentors, because there's no field manual on how to do it, and there's so many different things and options that you can do, and there's different metrics for what is successful. You look around and people are doing so many different things, and sometimes you can get lost in the sauce trying to figure out what's my next step. Nobody's really telling you what to do. You got to kind of harness that internal motivation and figure out what you want, and try to identify people that you want to be like is kind of how I do it.
You think about it as like these big decisions, but little things, right, that people struggle with. It's like now you're getting out of the military, you have to actually choose what color socks you wear. Right? And you don't think of people, growing up in the Army, I get that. You can wear any color you want, as long as it's green. And so, but people struggle with that as they leave, because for 20 years or however long the length of service was of your career, you've been spending your entire career knowing where to be, what to say, where to do, what to dress, how to do this, how to make your bed, how to shine your shoes. Now you have all these choices, and that actually is a lot more difficult for those transitioning GIs coming out as you're leaving the military of service, and trying to have that plan to be able to say, you know what, I can do anything I want, but oh my gosh, I can do anything I want. It can be as nerve-wracking as not being able to do anything you want.
Right.
So very cool. Thank you guys really for joining us today. What we'll do is we'll hang your links on our Daily News Network. That way, people can come check you out and any of the stuff out there. And so for all three of you gentlemen, thank you for what you've done for our great country. And thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today.
Semper Fidelis. Thanks a lot. Appreciate your service.
Gents, thanks for coming in. Guys, thanks for joining us on another episode of Buzz on Veterans. If you like us, share us, and remember, live with gratitude.